At 02:14 on August 7, 1942, in the profound pre-dawn darkness, the first wave of U.S. Marines stormed the beaches of Guadalcanal, a remote island in the Solomons, forever marking history. Their arsenal included standard issue M1 Garand rifles, Browning automatic rifles, and Thompson submachine guns. Yet, tucked among these familiar implements of war was an unexpected surprise, a weapon poised to utterly disorient the Japanese forces, the Winchester Model 12 shotgun. This pump-action firearm, originally designed for hunting, had been transformed into an instrument of devastating close-quarters combat. Unlike anything seen in modern warfare, Japanese defenders on Guadalcanal, meticulously trained for distant rifle exchanges, endless bayonet charges, and ferocious sword fighting, were confident their warrior spirit would overcome American hand-to-hand tactics. However, they were utterly unprepared for the raw, brutal efficiency of the American shotgun, a weapon capable of unleashing a torrent of fire as quickly as a soldier could pump its action. The Model 12's ingenious simplicity, combined with its terrifying spread of buckshot, ripped apart the Japanese tactical blueprint in the suffocating jungles, treacherous caves, and harrowing night battles of the Pacific War. The sheer numbers paint a stark picture. Each shell packed 9 to 33 caliber pellets of double-aught buckshot. A Marine could fire 6 rounds in 3 seconds, unleashing an astonishing 54 projectiles, an inferno of lead that no Japanese soldier, armed with a bolt-action Arisaka rifle, could ever hope to match. For the 200 Japanese defenders on Guadalcanal, this was an unprecedented threat. So potent was this weapon that during World War I, Germany had famously attempted to outlaw it, submitting a formal diplomatic protest in 1918. Their claim: American shotguns inflicted unnecessary suffering, violating the Hague Convention. The Germans even threatened to execute any captured U.S. soldier found carrying one. The United States, however, defiantly dismissed the protest, vowing severe reprisals if any American met such a fate. No executions ever occurred, and the shotgun remained an integral part of the American arsenal. By the dawn of World War II, the Winchester Model 12 trench gun had evolved for military deployment. It featured a shortened 20-inch barrel, a protective heat shield, and a bayonet lug. Crucially, it retained its slam fire capability, allowing a Marine to hold the trigger down and fire shell after shell in a continuous, thunderous roar as fast as the pump action could be cycled. This became a chilling symphony of destruction. For the Japanese, who honed their skills in night assaults and close-quarters bayonet charges, the Model 12 was a living nightmare. Their military doctrines preached American weakness in close combat, emphasizing reliance on long-range firepower. Early successes in China, Singapore, and the Philippines seemed to validate this belief. But on Guadalcanal, facing American Marines, armed with shotguns, these long-held assumptions shattered. The true test arrived just 2 weeks after the landing, during the ferocious Battle of the Tenora River on August 21, 1942. Colonel Kionao Ichiki spearheaded a night assault of nearly 1,000 Japanese soldiers, charging across a sandbar with the intent to crush the Marine perimeter. This was the exact close combat scenario revered in Japanese doctrine. Yet, awaiting them were Marines, not only with machine guns and artillery, but also, crucially, with shotgun-wielding riflemen concealed in the shadows. As the Japanese human wave surged forward, they were met with an overwhelming deluge of fire. Marines rained down grenades and fired their Browning automatic rifles into the dense formations. But in the brutal hand-to-hand fighting along the riverbank, the Winchester Model 12 truly distinguished itself. At ranges under 20 yards, a single shotgun blast ripped through multiple attackers. Slam-firing Marines transformed their weapons into relentless, rapid-fire cannons. When the sun finally broke through the dawn, the sandbar was a grisly sight, strewn with bodies. Of the 916 Japanese who initiated the charge, nearly 800 lay dead. The shotgun's impact wasn't solely in its sheer lethality, but also in its profound psychological effect. In the dense, unforgiving jungle darkness, the distinct, metallic chunk of a pump-action shotgun sent shivers of terror down the spines of Japanese infiltrators. Marines innovatively employed the weapon in ways rifles simply couldn't. During night patrols, the shotgun became the indispensable tool of the point man, delivering instant, devastating firepower at the first hint of an ambush. In defensive perimeters, Marines would load their shotguns and silently await in the darkness. When Japanese infiltrators crept forward with bayonets and grenades, a single blast of buckshot instantaneously halted the assault. As the war progressed through 1943 and 1944, the shotgun repeatedly proved its worth. In the humid, tangled jungles of New Georgia, Marines armed their point men with the Winchester Model 12 specifically to repel ambushes. A single, thunderous blast could shatter a Japanese patrol before it even had a chance to strike. At night, shotgun-armed Marines were strategically placed to create overlapping fields of fire, turning daring infiltration attempts into suicidal charges. The shotgun also became invaluable for jungle lane shooting, with Marines firing down trails or into dense vegetation to clear out hidden Japanese positions. The widespread of buckshot effortlessly tore through foliage, hitting unseen targets with lethal precision. Perhaps the most terrifying application of the Model 12 emerged in the brutal cave and bunker warfare of the Pacific, beginning with Tarawa in November 1943 and reaching its horrifying zenith at Iwo Jima and Okinawa. The Japanese had transformed entire islands into impregnable fortresses of rock, coral, and concrete. Marines were forced to crawl into narrow caves, scale sheer ridges, and confront enemies lurking in dark, claustrophobic chambers. Here, the shotgun was peerless. Marines perfected the technique of skip shooting, deliberately bouncing buckshot off tunnel walls to create a deadly, ricocheting storm inside confined spaces, ensuring no enemy could escape. Survivors vividly recalled the horrifying cacophony of pellets whining and screaming in every direction, creating the illusion of death from all sides. Even when not immediately fatal, this psychological onslaught often compelled Japanese soldiers to abandon their positions. On Saipan in July 1944, during the largest Japanese banzai charge of the war, thousands of Japanese soldiers flung themselves against American lines, while machine guns and artillery inflicted the vast majority of casualties. It was the raw, chaotic close quarters fighting where shotgun-armed Marines valiantly held the line in desperate moments. Their ability to unleash a hail of lead into surging enemy ranks made all the difference in sectors where the Japanese momentarily breached the defenses. On Iwo Jima, the shotgun became an integral component of blowtorch and corkscrew tactics. Flamethrowers unleashed fire and smoke, demolition charges sealed tunnels, and shotguns delivered the final, decisive blows within the intricate fortifications. Marines even refined skip shooting, deliberately ricocheting buckshot off tunnel walls to neutralize enemies concealed around corners. Despite its exceptional effectiveness, the Model 12 was never mass-produced. Only about 61,000 were manufactured during the war, a mere fraction compared to the millions of rifles. It was selectively issued to units most likely to encounter close quarters combat Marines in rifle companies, Army assault teams, Navy landing parties, and even Air Force guards protecting airfields. Ammunition, however, was abundant, with millions of shells produced, including standard buckshot, solid slugs for extended range, and finer shot for clearing vegetation. For the Marines who wielded it, the Model 12 was a weapon of unwavering preference. While some favored rifles, many swore by the shotgun's unmatched dominance in close combat. Veterans recounted the profound confidence it instilled in them during night operations, knowing they possessed the ultimate weapon if the Japanese dared to draw near. The Japanese, for their part, never found a true counter. They experimented with rudimentary body armor crafted from wood or bamboo, but it proved cumbersome, unwieldy, and largely ineffective. Their only real defense was to desperately avoid getting close enough, a stark contradiction to their entire doctrine of aggressive close-range attacks. The saga of the Model 12 transcends mere hardware. It embodies the American approach to warfare: pragmatic, adaptable, and relentlessly resourceful. While other armies rigidly adhered to tradition, the Marines embraced innovation. They didn't wait for orders from above. They experimented directly in the field, identified what worked, and disseminated these vital lessons. Techniques like skip shooting, mixed ammunition loads, and shotgun assault teams weren't conceived in sterile laboratories. They were forged in the crucible of the Pacific's unforgiving jungles and caves, born from the desperate struggle for survival. By war's end, the shotgun had etched a fearsome legacy. Though never the primary weapon of the entire war, in the uniquely brutal environments of the Pacific, it was utterly irreplaceable. From intense night fighting to harrowing jungle patrols, daring bunker assaults, and desperate last stands, the Winchester Model 12 armed Marines and soldiers with a tool that utterly dismantled Japanese tactical presumptions. Its influence persisted long after the war, serving in Korea, where it once again proved its mettle in night combat. In Vietnam, shotguns were standard issue for point men navigating dense jungles and engaging in brutal tunnel fighting, a direct echo of its cave-clearing prowess in World War II. Its philosophy, the overwhelming power of close-range firepower, continues to resonate in modern military shotguns and formidable aircraft like the A-10 Warthog and the AC-130 gunship. For the Japanese soldiers who stared down its barrel, the Model 12 was far more than just a weapon. It was a terrifying embodiment of everything they believed to be true. Turned on its head, they anticipated Western troops would crumble in close combat. Instead, they found themselves ripped apart by torrents of buckshot in the dark jungles and claustrophobic caves. Simple yet devastating, the shotgun definitively proved that American forces could adapt faster, innovate smarter, and fight with overwhelming force at every conceivable range, from Guadalcanal to Okinawa and beyond.